4 safe online shopping tips you should follow immediately. Today's cyber attacks are multi-pronged, and you could be vulnerable while engaging in activities ranging from the mundane to the exciting. Get ahead of cyber criminals and learn what makes an online store secure. Find out also how to protect your personal data and wallet while spending your hard-earned cash on things you love. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. I hope you are doing fantastic today. I'm doing marvelous. And if you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or let's roll. Today we're going to talk about online shopping. Right? We're going to talk about safety measures you should really pay attention to when you shop online. Number one, understand why self-protection is essential when shopping online. Now, whether you know it or not, you've already benefited from security measures that were developed to help protect personal data, right? I'm talking about credit card numbers, encryption protocols, username, and passwords, right? Now, websites designed by financial institutions, insurance companies, and government agencies, for instance, they usually contain sophisticated security features to help keep your private information safe from hackers, identity thieves, and other kinds of cyber criminals, right? When it comes to the government, for instance, there are two institutions that play a pivotal role when it comes to protecting citizens' private data. You have state's DMV, right? So that's Department of Motor Vehicles, and then you have the Social Security Agency, the Social Security Administration, rather. And this is very important. Now, the thing is that regular people do not check the security status of a preferred online retailer, for instance, right? I mean, how many times people just go on the internet and they're just interested in that new dress or that new a pair of shoes, and they fail to check the online security status of the web shop, right? Cyber criminals are more sophisticated today than ever before, right? So online threats, cyber attacks, data breaches are not limited to large corporations. Contrary to conventional wisdom, people think, oh, well, it's the big banks that always get attacked. No, anyone on the internet can face online threats. So for this reason, it is important to understand that self-protection is essential when you shop on the internet. You gotta look for ways to ensure a safe online shopping experience, right? Again, because your name, your private information, your credit card number, your debit card number, your username, your password, all that collection of very sensitive data can be passed on and sold in the dark web, and the next thing you know, your whole life is just turned upside down. We don't want that. So that's the first tip. Number two, look for key online shopping security features. There are a few of them that you have to pay attention to. So it's not as difficult as it sounded is, but whenever you go to a website, whenever you go to a web shop, an online store, you got to look for an SSL certification. And you can verify this in a few ways. Number one, look for the addition of an S to the HTTP. You know, like when you type the URL of a page, right? You want to certify that page is secure, and the best way to see it is you have to see at the end of the HTTP. If there is an S at the end, then you know this is a secured website. So when you enter a password or personal details, you know that the site is using SSL, so that you know your info is actually protected. Now, the thing here is that some websites apply that SSL protocol only to a portion of the website. So you want to make sure that whatever you enter in private data, the portion of the website where you enter the private data is secure. You also want to look for visual cues that indicate a secure site. For instance, you have a lock symbol and the green color in the address bar before you enter your credit card number or any confidential information. Let me repeat that. There are two visual cues you have to pay attention to. One, the lock symbol. Number two, the green color. So you have to see the green color in the address bar before you enter a credit card or debit card number or any kind of confidential information. When you have a lock symbol and a green color, you are sure that your shopping session is secure and that the site is using encryption to protect your personal data. All right. Now, when I'm talking about SSL stands for Secure Socket Layer. This is a protocol, an encryption protocol that protects online transactions by keeping data in transit confidential by encoding it. Right. In other words, your information is not visible to identity thieves, to hackers, and other kinds of cyber criminals. All right. So just to recap this part, here are three key online shopping security features you have to pay attention to. The S at the end, when you type WTTP, there has to be an S, right? Then you got to look for the lock symbol. And the third thing is you have to look at the green color in the address bar before you enter any kind of personal information. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. I'm very happy to have you around here. If you love the quality and the clarity of the content so far, please consider subscribing to our channel and turn on the notification bell so you can be notified whenever we drop a new show. We release beautiful shows every single day. Comment below, let us know your opinion about today's topic, and also share and like this content. Number 3. No alternative ways to be safe when shopping online, right? So I gave you earlier 3 ways to identify that a website you're going to, a web store, is actually safe. Now, there are other ways to be safe when shopping online. Now, if you don't have the features that I mentioned earlier, the lock symbol and the green color, there are other tips. There are other ways to be safe. Now, use common sense. This is very important. Does the online store look legit? If you're going to a website and you want to shop in that website, you got to use common sense, use your gut, right? Does it look legit compared to rivals? Because I'm sure if you're shopping on a store, you probably know 2 or 3 other stores in the same niche. So you want to compare the website to other rivals and see if they measure up, right? If you see anything fishy, it means it's fishy. Now, you can also use an online tool that can help identify risky websites as you shop. There are a lot of them there. You have McAfee, you have Norton, you have the big internet security companies out there. All of them have some kind of free online tool that helps you separate the risky websites from the legit ones. All right. And this is very important because you want to be aware of identity theft, right? You may not know right away if a criminal has obtained your financial information, but the thing is, you can be proactive by closely monitoring all of your financial accounts and signing up for text or email alerts if the institution offers them. Because the thing is that if you go to a website, if you say, for instance, you went to a website, you entered your info, and then you use one of those free online tools, and you realize that you were on the wrong website, you can automatically contact your financial institution to make sure that they put blocks on some of the things, some of your info, because you don't want to pay for identity theft, and it's huge. This is a huge thing in the United States nowadays. You can also use a virtual private network to shop online. And a virtual private network, especially the sophisticated ones, they would also allow you to identify whether a website is legit or not. Now, a VPN stands for a virtual private network, and what they do is that kind of network encrypts your traffic. So even if someone manages to eavesdrop, he or she will just see encrypted data when online, right? So a VPN can turn public Wi-Fi into a secure private connection, all right? So So this is very important. Now, another thing you want to do when it comes to shopping online is to just to adopt some basic internet security rules. For instance, don't open emails from unknown senders or click on links or links to shopping deals that seem suspicious, right? I mean, if you have, it's very well known that during the holiday season, for instance, you have countless phishing attempts that flood Americans' inboxes, and in the form of email advertising a sale you don't want to miss, but when you click on the links, it just sends you somewhere. Sometimes the links seem harmless, right? But the thing is that in the background there is malware being downloaded onto your computer. All right. You also have spam emails and bogus websites that often contain typos or spelling and grammatical mistakes, right? So you want to watch for those signs, because a normal company, a legit company, they, the minimum they have is people actually, they have editors in the house to be looking at mistakes in the content. So if you have those mistakes, it means that the emails are coming from a source that's not legit. All right. So basically, just gonna wrap up this section here. The alternative ways to be safe when shopping online is don't open emails from unknown senders. Don't click on links to deals, right? When those deals are suspicious. Look for proper grammar. If you have some kind of typos, some kind of mistakes, gross mistakes, spelling mistakes, this is not a legit source. Use strong password, right? You want to update those passwords regularly, and never use the same password for multiple accounts, right? This is especially important for accounts that contain your personal information. You can also use a VPN, or you can also use a free online tool, a free online monitoring tool that allows you to not only manage your password, but also identify whether a website is legit or not. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. We're still having a conversation today here about safe online shopping, and I'm giving you 4 tips that you need to follow immediately. All right. Now, I've given you 3 already, and let's go to number 4. Now, number 4. Exercise caution when using public Wi-Fi hotspots while shopping. This is very important. I mean, we all, every now and then have to go shopping, and we want to save our mobile data. So it's just very tempting, right, to use the free Wi-Fi hotspot at the mall or the restaurants. That's pretty good, but you got to be wary of those free Wi-Fi hotspots in malls, right? Maybe your local mall offers that free Wi-Fi, but simply because it's free doesn't mean it's secure, right? This is something you have to be very careful. Now, the thing here is that there are several disadvantages to using a free Wi-Fi, especially the public ones. You have rogue Wi-Fi networks, right? In other words, you can be tricked into a rogue Wi-Fi network set up by an attacker. So the network, will be called free Wi-Fi, but it's intentionally set up to harvest your personal data. All right. You have something also called man-in-the-middle attacks. So if you connect to free public Wi-Fi, you're bringing risks from having your personal data intercepted by third parties. This is because hackers have the ability to position themselves between you, who are using the Wi-Fi, and the connection point. You also have another risk: distribution of malware over unsecured Wi-Fi, right? So cyber criminals can also use an unsecured Wi-Fi connection to distribute malware. So if you have infected software on your computers or devices, this can be financially crippling for you, right? You also have something called snooping and sniffing. This is a process used by hackers whereby they utilize special software that enables them to eavesdrop on Wi-Fi signals. so they can access everything you're doing online, potentially enabling them to capture login credentials and even hijack your accounts, right? So they basically eavesdropping on your actions, on your behavior online. You also have malicious attacks through ad hocs. Now, ad hocs are P2P, peer-to-peer networks that connect to computers directly. So when you use a public Wi-Fi at a mall, for instance, your device is likely to be set to discover new networks, making it possible for hackers to connect directly to it. You also have a password and username vulnerability, right? So whenever you use a public Wi-Fi at the mall, at the restaurants, in the train, while going shopping, you are vulnerable to having your passwords and username stolen when you log on, right? Because websites utilizing secure socket layer, what I spoke about earlier, SSL or HTTPS, provide a needed level of security. You also have exposure to worm attacks, right? So worms act much like viruses, with one key difference. Viruses must have a program to attack in order to successfully compromise a system. However, worms can wreak havoc all by themselves, making them more dangerous. So when connected to a public Wi-Fi, you run the risk of a worm traveling from another device that's connected to the network to your computer. All right, so this is basically, I've just given you a non-exhaustive list of some of the risks that you encounter when you shop online. When you log online, you connect to a public Wi-Fi because you want to shop, you want to check something. You are at the mall, you are at the store, you want to check the price of an item. There are several risks, and those risks are real. So using unsecure public Wi-Fi can allow others, this is another important element here, to see important emails, encrypted messages, and unsecured logins, right? Now, there are some steps you can take before using public Wi-Fi. You can convert to the more secure HTTPS for your website and applications. You can set up a VPN. You can have a private VPN, right? A virtual private network. And this is basically, as I said earlier, it's like a tunnel that keeps out prying eyes, right? So you ask, anybody who is connected to your VPN will always log into the VPN. So they'll have a secure connection to your network. You can also have, you can turn off Wi-Fi auto connect settings and Bluetooth discoverability settings. And this process prevents cyber criminals from getting direct peer-to-peer access to your device without you realizing it. You can also ensure that you have a firewall enabled on your device, on your smartphone or your computer or your tablet. You can also just make sure that your computer, you are covered by effective anti-malware software, right? Including anti-sniffing protection. You can use a mobile hotspot provided through your mobile carrier, or tether laptops to a mobile device and avoid using public Wi-Fi altogether. This is my favorite process, by the way. Of course, it eats up your data. It will eat up your data. But if you have unlimited data, or you have some kind of special plan, mobile plan, that's better. All right. So this is basically the things you can do to if you want to use public Wi-Fi. There are a few things you can do to mitigate the risk. All right, so let's just quickly recap today's conversation. So the 4 safe online shopping tips you should follow immediately are: understand why self-protection is essential when shopping online. Look for key online shopping security features. Know alternative ways to be safe when shopping online. And exercise caution when using public Wi-Fi hotspots while shopping. I'll see you another time. Thanks for listening, and until next, stay marvelous.